Hello, Leo, and welcome to your 2-month forecast. We're going to be taking a look at the months of September and October. I hope everybody's doing well. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Apollo is sound asleep behind us. We're going to let him be. I'm going to get into channeled messages first and foremost. There were some really powerful images that came through in dreams today. The first was an image of a root, and I woke up with the name Mandrake. Not something that I'm super familiar with other than I've seen it before in oracle cards. So I did a little bit of research before we started here. And interestingly enough, it is toxic. So one thing that I'm looking at just from the perspective of toxicity and the fact that it can take root is that there might be something in your life that needs to be released. Could be a relationship, a working experience, or environment. And it takes a little bit of time because if you think of kind of like a dandelion, for instance, you have to get the whole taproot out in order for that dandelion not to come back. So boundaries are going to be very important as we take a look at this 2-month period. And you might have to do something 2 or 3 times for it to stick, especially when you're trying to say no or to release maybe even a habit in your life. So toxic relationships, toxic thoughts, toxic people. We're trying to remove that kind of energy. Detoxification overall will be good. So mind, body, and spirit. Eating healthier, trying to create better habits and more sustainable habits in your life, all connected with that. There are some positive energies with this. It was used as a talisman for protection, of course. I think all of this kind of goes back to the general energy of boundaries and just creating this sort of healthier cycle in your life. All right, on to the second message that came through. I had this sort of dream where multiple times I was looking for my car and I knew where it was, but I couldn't find it. And once I got to it, I wasn't sure where to go next. So there's this sort of GPS energy that's coming forth. And the first one is slowing down long enough to figure out where you're at. And I know it sounds simple, but oftentimes we just go from one experience, one job, one relationship to the next because we don't want any sort of like space between. That space is so important for us to take care of ourselves, to detox as we just talked about, and also to get a lay for the land. Like, am I where I want to be in this moment in time? Am I missing something? Because as I was lucid dreaming and went back, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly where the car was. I knew it was there. How did I miss it? But then once I got in, I thought, now where? So when you have some of that space, give yourself a chance to think, what if, or why not? What if I try this? Why am I not experiencing that? And allow yourself to dream a little bit. My goal as we take a look at these 2 months is to help you elevate these 2 dream symbols. The mandrake isn't just toxic, it's also magical. So let's lean into magician energy. And the car, very close to the chariot, can help you get where you need to go. But first things first, you have to figure out where you want to go. So let's map that out. Let's shuffle the cards and see what these 2 months have in store for you. Please take a moment, close your eyes. Imagine that there's a circle of light around your body. Let's welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters and see what this 2-month period has in store for you. All right, let's get started. We have the rune Kanaz coming through reversed, and this represents illumination, knowledge, ancestral knowledge as well. And that torch reminds me a lot of the lantern that we would see here in the Hermit. Both of these symbols represent shining a light on something, sometimes even when others don't want to see it. The reversal of this card also is an encouragement to allow for your skills, your passion, your insight, and your knowledge to be seen and heard, especially in this moment in time. I mentioned ancestral knowledge was a piece of this. Some of you might be deciding to dig a little bit deeper in the family tree and find out about things that weren't talked about before. Maybe there was something that was really difficult that a relative overcame, or maybe even something someone didn't want to talk about. When you're able to shine a light on that truth, it helps you understand the family dynamics better. It helps you understand yourself better. You also have the ability right now, by getting to understand your parents, grandparents, etc., to break any cycles that you don't want. Knowledge is power. You can make different choices. And this card is all about shining that torch, shining that light on what needs to be seen. We'll intermittently go back. There's a lot to unpack. And again, just like the Hermit card, I think that's one of the more powerful runes you can get because it represents knowledge, experience, power, but not everything is going to be obvious. You have to dig a little bit deeper. All right, quickly looking at this 2-month spread, I'll kind of describe how everything is arranged and then we'll dig into it. Everything on the left is September, on the right is October. We have the karmic energy here, and then we have destiny here. 2 takeaways for these 2 months, and then cards that represent a bridge and a block, okay? Let's get started first with your karmic energy, which is lessons that still need to be learned. Here's the good news. We have the 8 of Wands here, which tells me that a lot of things are going to happen and open up to you at once. Karmically, it's about just keeping the pace. And look at this really bright horizon. If you can focus on possibilities and keep moving each day towards those possibilities, then you should see continued progress. If you don't know where you're going, or if you're focusing on other things, getting distracted, then you might get off track. And that's the only sort of cautionary note with this. With the 8 of Wands, one thing that isn't always apparent is the fact that there's help. There's a lot of different people that are putting those wands into motion. Slow down. Don't get lost in the shuffle. If you need help or support, reach out. And once you do that, I feel like you're going to be fine. This is actually very auspicious energy to start the reading off with. It tells me that you have the ability to make progress, to keep up with your goals and your dreams, so don't let anything distract you. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the energy of September. We're going to start off first with the energy of the past. As I look at this version of the card, the 7 of Swords reversed, what I get is that some of you have had a habit in the past of taking on more than you should. I'm really looking at the way that this person is pulling all the swords towards them. So we'll go into the traditional version and the traditional interpretation, but I'm getting that overcommitting and taking on too much, maybe in order to try and please someone, this is the main focus for some of you. And it is a form of not telling the truth, because saying, yeah, I can do it when you know you really can't, it's making a promise you can't keep. So at the core of the energy of the beginning of the month is an important message around being realistic. Being honest, being realistic, and not overextending yourself. It's not only okay, but advised to say no if something doesn't sound or feel right, or if you just know that it's going to be more trouble than it's worth, okay? So that's what I'm getting from this particular illustration. If we lean into the original one, now we can talk about some of the more traditional thoughts around this. Honesty. Being honest with yourself, that's one of the hardest pieces, but it all starts there. Know who you are, know what you want, be brave enough and strong enough to articulate that, and allow people to see that. You might have to shine a torch and say, this isn't what I want, or this is what I stand for. Speak your truth. It will set you free. There could be a smoke screen. So let's talk about there's a background and a foreground. In the background, you can see all of these people in conflict, and in the foreground, this person is using that distraction to get away with something. Don't let someone divert your attention. See the razor focus that's on the 8 of Wands? We also want to keep that right here, right now. Don't let someone who's acting a fool there take you off your path. Don't let someone who's trying to make you focus on this get away with something else. You want to be aware, fully aware of what's going on, okay? So honesty, integrity, awareness, not overcommitting, and speaking up as needed. A lot to unpack there, but that's going to set you free and help you lean into the energy of the present, which is fantastic, I might mention. We have Lovers energy, and the Lovers is reversed, but it's basically just saying, are you ready to receive? We have 2 lovers here, face to face, hand to hand, and there's this sort of new connection that wants to come in. The question is, do you believe in yourself? Do you feel that you're ready and deserving and lovable? That can be your mantra. I'm more than enough. Anyone would be lucky to have me. I'm ready to make a profound connection of love, of light, of happiness, whatever you can add to it. But the hesitation here isn't helping you. So really get confident and really focus on self-acceptance and self-love. If there's ever been someone in your life that tells you you're not enough, this card comes through and says quite the reverse, quite the opposite. There could also be some increasingly, what's the best word here? Intense relationships this month. So someone could come in and knock you head over heels. Whenever there's a reversal in a positive card like this, it could just be like they take your breath away in a good way. The timing is inconvenient. Maybe the way that they show up, it's not exactly what you thought, but it's also everything that you thought. There's something here there's an element of surprise with a friendship or a new connection. For those of you where that happens, don't second guess yourself. One last nuance with this is you owe it to yourself to not sort of like settle for less. And sometimes with an Two of Cups or the Lovers in reverse, there can be feelings that aren't mutual. So be firm and be strong in your vision and your understanding of who you are and what you want. That is where these two cards kind of come together and play together. So this is you maybe pretending to be something that you're not in order to make others happy. It could even be family members because you want that love, you want that support, but we have to stay focused. We have to be the light of wisdom here and continue moving forward because there's a lot of good stuff waiting for you. And as we look at what's coming through in the future position, we have an Ace of Pentacles, an opportunity is knocking. It's so interesting because when we look at this one, it's almost like an ace too, the way it's shaped. But we see hand in hand, someone there saying, I value you. And that is what an Ace of Pentacles can be. Someone saying, I'd like you to be a part of this, or I'd like us to be something. Again, a partnership, it can be friendship, love, or business. And this is good. This is commitment. You don't always think of the Ace of Pentacles in that light, but when you're looking at love, if you get the Lovers and the Ace of Pentacles, someone's interested in you. There's a chance to make a connection. This is really auspicious for business, especially since the next card is Pentacles as well. What do you want to put your energy into? This is ostensibly the most important question I can ask you today, because I mentioned you need to know where you're going. These two cards support one another. The future is bright, but you have to be able to understand like what to plug into the GPS. Take time this month. Plant your seed of intention. Pick one thing where you can really make an impact and put as much energy into that as possible. I was talking to one of my friends today about the power of just setting aside a little bit of time. I found for whatever reason like 15 to 17 minutes per day. Do it every day and you'll see amazing progress. We've talked about this before in weekly collectives. Maybe you'll feel drawn to do that this month. Pick one thing and every day for about a quarter of an hour, put time into that. And when that quarter hour is done, you can move on to something else. But check in at the end of 30 days or so and see if you haven't made quite significant progress. I bet you have. All right, let's look at the takeaway for the month of September. Thankfully, we have a really good one. It's finding balance, a newfound balance for many of you. This particular version of the card is just focusing on all of the growth and all of the potential. We'll look at the traditional one while we're talking here too, because one thing that the traditional Six of Pentacles teaches us is that discernment is important. And this will help some of you that might be dealing with this desire to want to please everyone to say no, because we have a finite amount of energy in each given day. Like there's only so many hours, there's only so much attention, there might only be so many resources you can give. So if you invest wisely, as we see here, you will have enough to tip the scales in your favor. If you invest foolishly, then you're constantly trying to catch up. But the takeaway is you're not going to have to do that. You're going to tip it in your favor. And it is slightly imbalanced, 6. It's not 5, it's 6. So we want to get it a little in your favor so you have more than enough. Notice all the outstretched hands. You're never going to be able to please everybody. You can't give everyone everything they want all the time. It's not possible. So you're going to choose, what do I stand for? How much do I have to give? Where do I want to give it? How often do I want to give it? And then you make choices. And they're the best choices you can make. And therefore, that is going to lead you in the right direction. So be discerning, be strong, say no, and find that balance. Overall, I quite like the energy with the month of September. The only challenge really is this, and it is in the past. So be honest with yourself, shine that light on whatever it is that you need to heal here with respect to integrity, overextending oneself, or having people around you that might be trying to distract you. We don't have time for that anymore. All right, let's see how these 2 months are connected. The bridge between the 2 months is the Hierophant reversed. There's an encouragement with this card to do something that's unconventional and unexpected. Let's take a look at the traditional version and then this one side by side. So as you look at the traditional version, we have a pope and we have 2 disciples. Basically, he's a gatekeeper. He has the knowledge, he knows the way, he holds the keys. That's not the case in this card. We see someone that's digging for a forgotten truth, looking for a different path, forging something that hasn't been forged before, going their own way. And it's okay to do that. So some of you are just thinking outside of the box, literally, as we look at this illustration. And when you have insight, knowledge, and wisdom, you can't put it back in the box. It's like someone may tell you to ignore it and just carry on or move along, but you've awakened to something that is truly you. So for all of you that resonates with, there's just definitely some encouragement to go your own way and do what feels right. There still may be an arbitrary gatekeeper, someone who has the capacity or the ability to stamp a yes or a no on something. In this situation, fight the fight worth fighting, but don't fight for the sake of fighting. So sometimes you just have to work through the gatekeeper. And if you can't, you might be able to work with one of the 2 disciples. So these 2 people can represent someone like an administrative assistant or a best friend. And often they're just as powerful, if not more powerful, than the gatekeeper. So if you find yourself at an impasse with this person, or if they don't answer your calls, this is especially true for anybody that's dealing with a bureaucracy, whether it's in a company or a hospital or a governmental sort of bureaucracy. If you know someone that knows someone, work that angle, because that can help you open up that kind of gateway, okay? Be nice to the assistants. Be nice to the front desk person. These are the people that turn the key. These are the ones that can get you on the calendar. So for everyone else, though, this is just about thinking outside of the box. You may also want to reorganize. So this is one of the most rigid and organized cards. And when it's reversed, it's saying, maybe we can try this differently. Maybe we can mix it up a little bit. You don't have to throw everything out. It's still a card of structure, but there might be a couple of tweaks that you can do that will change it up and make it something new. It's a really powerful connection. What could block you? Emotions. So the block between the 2 months is the Page of Cups in reverse. What literally came to me is that you're over it. Like what I heard is, I'm over this. So it's okay to be over something. That actually is one of the biggest blessings, to know I don't want to do it anymore. We hear little 2-year-olds, I don't want to. That's such a powerful thing. If you don't want it, if you don't feel like doing it anymore, that's the first step. The second one is, what do I want? What's the next thing that I'm going to approach? So as an adult, we take it a step further. Okay, how can I make the change? What can I do about this? Now, for everyone else, if you still want to do something, but there's too much coming through, too much emotions, if it's too heavy, take a break. Take care of yourself. Talk to someone. Lean on someone. This can just be heightened sensitivity. You don't want to have an important conversation or make an important decision when your emotions are so heavy or so high that they don't allow you to see all of the opportunities in front of you. Take a step back, take a day or two, and then move on. All right, speaking of moving on, we're going to take a look at the second month. Now we're moving into October. Let's see what this month has in store for you. As we go into the energy of the past, you received 6 of Cups, but reversed. I love this illustration because it's almost like we're looking through this magnifying glass and we're seeing what's possible here. So partnership, love, and friendship. Once again, A beautiful sort of connection to what we just saw here in the previous month, the Lovers. So the question is, are you ready? If you're not ready, ask yourself when. If not now, then when? Because Six of Cups is ostensibly one of the best friendship, partnership, and opportunity cards you can get. In fact, if we look at the traditional version of it for a moment, it's a moment where you can get your flowers. Literally, we see one child giving it to the other. So this is friendship, recognition, and sometimes people lauding you with praise. Take time to get out and mix and mingle. Even if you're a little bit shy, remember what your catalyst was, that torch of light. Passion also. Definitely there's some passion in both months that wants to shine through if you allow yourself to be seen. This is a great card for networking. So if you want to grow your network, just like the Lovers, it's fantastic. In business, both Six of Cups and Lovers represents the ability to bring in people of a higher caliber or a higher energy. So I'm actually quite heartened by the types of relationship energies that are presenting themselves. So yay for that. All right, let's see what's coming through in the present position for October. In the present here, we have Nine of Cups. This is wish fulfillment. If you want something, you can get it. That's why I really wanted you to pay attention to what you're setting into motion, particularly in September. By the middle of October, we start to see some really nice movement on that front. The card is reversed. So for some of you, the intensity of emotion is a common theme in the 60-day period. And it could just, some days are really great, some days are really challenging. There's not a lot of in-between. Work, if you can, to create the in-between. When you feel like everything's going, amazingly well, etc., breathe. Plant your feet on the ground. Remember that there's still work to be done. When it's a really challenging day, remember that this is just one out of many. Meditate and remember what you're working so hard for. So the highs and the lows balance one another out. We can't live just in the high or the low. This is a time where some of you might be deciding to clean your diet and also your activities up a little bit so that they're not toxic. We talked about that. So if there's anyone in your life that is toxic, it's too much. It's kind of like it's raining down. If there's anything that you've been doing habit-wise that kind of costs more than it gives you, so let's say you drink a lot of caffeine all day long, but then you just end the day feeling completely burnt, it's not worth it. Or if you enjoy drinking with your friends, but it takes forever the next day because you're hungover, you realize it's just not worth the trade-off. So we're going to work to not go to extremes. All of that being said, some of you may not be having enough fun, and the Nine of Cups comes through to remind you that it's important to put joy in each and every day, not to just live for the milestones. We have to live in the in-between sort of zone because that's day to day. So find something every day that provides some joy, some solace, and some happiness, okay? Overall, though, I will take that as a presenting energy because, again, that means that whatever you set your time in your intention and your focus on, you have a great chance of accomplishing it. I think we have only the second challenging card that is in this entire spread so far, and it's in the future. The card, of course, is the Five of Pentacles, but reversed. If we zoom in on this card a little bit, we see two people feeling like they're outsiders, wishing that they could be on the other side of that shelter or that opportunity. Self-worth is everything. We saw the Lovers and we saw the Six of Cups coming through, which represent friendship, which represent opportunities, you receiving your flowers or your recognition, but you have to believe it. And it all kind of hinges on this card, which is potentially why this is the most important. I would love for you to focus more on self-love, self-appreciation, and healing. If we look at the traditional version of the card, we can see this feeling of two wounded people, or this scene of two wounded people. There was someone in your past, could be recent or deep past, where they just couldn't show up the way you needed them to. Sometimes it's a parent, sometimes it's a teacher. It really doesn't matter who it was. Just know this. Their lack of being there had more to do with the fact that they weren't ready. They lacked the capacity to give you what you needed. And it's not a reflection of you, okay? Other messages with this: if you push yourself to extremes, your body is going to just pump the brakes and say, enough. You could get a cold, a flu, you could just, lack focus and need to kind of take a nap. Don't push yourself that hard. take a vacation or have some fun or pull back a little bit or say no. We talked about all of that in the previous month. When we go into health, I'll highlight this a little bit more, but pay special attention to the feet and ankles. Sometimes there can be issues with circulation, maybe an old injury. You want to watch it. If there are slippery roads or surfaces, make sure you know where you're going, okay? Also, just looking at this from a monetary perspective, this was about creating balance. This card is testing that again, one more time. There might be someone that wants to take more than they should, more than they're giving. And again, it's your opportunity to put a line in the sand and say, no, that's not enough. I need more. Okay. As we take a look at the monthly takeaway for October, we have Four of Wands energy reversed, but still very positive. Four of Wands, of course, represents camaraderie, friendship, commitment, and love. There's a common theme this 2-month period. There's lots of partnership potential if you're willing, if you're ready. The traditional version of this card shows that sometimes you set the stage before that person comes in. Again, it could be friendship, could be business, could be love, could be all or some of those. So let's open ourselves up to receive the highest possible connections this month and avoid self-fulfilling prophecies that counterbalance that. I just want to review what we've seen before we even get to the Destiny card. Passion, the Lovers. Dream fulfillment, Nine of Cups. Commitment, Ace of Pentacles, Four of Wands. Friendship, Six of Cups. A newfound balance, the Six of Pentacles, but a challenge around self-confidence. It's all there. You just have to be honest with yourself, have good boundaries, and believe in the possibilities, because overwhelmingly, the spread is very, very positive. All right, now let's go into your Destiny card. We have the Star also reversed. Don't hold back. Reach for that highest sort of goal or dream or aspiration and be yourself. So this initial card that we pulled, she is a torchbearer, but she's reversed. I mentioned that she is analogous or comparable to the Hermit. And again, he holds the torch, well, the lantern. But when the card is reversed, sometimes he pulls back a little bit. Same thing with the Star. Let's embrace the truth of who you are. If you can't be yourself around the people that you love, they're not loving you back. Let's put it that way. Give them a chance to embrace you and see you for what you always wanted to be and what you came to this planet to be. Think bigger when it comes to goals, reach higher when it comes to aspirations, and maybe go a little bit deeper into spiritual growth and development this month. The Star invariably is not only one of the most beautiful cards, but possibly the best card. Even though it's not the ultimate, it's not the last, it is the one that is most closely connected to spirit, and you are shining brightly when this is coming through. So don't hold back your shine. Don't mute your light. Don't mute your voice. Shine brightly. Okay, beautiful way to go into the expanded forecast where we're going to look at health, wealth, and love. Let's give the cards a shuffle and see how all of this is coming through here. Health, wealth, and love. All right, let's begin first with health. So health, of course, is connected to mind, body, and spirit. We have the Five of Swords, and the Five of Swords is reversed. So I'll take it in the reverse position. Much like the Seven, it's actually better reversed because you are no longer going to give airtime to people that don't listen, are not accountable, they don't want to take responsibility for things, and they may just enjoy teasing you. And what we see in this card is someone that's going to try to rise above that energy. I'll pull the traditional one while we're talking too, because I think it does a great job of showing what to avoid. You know, going back to the Mandrake while I'm finding this card, I mentioned this is a time for detoxing, right? Detoxification. This kind of toxicity is in relationships and environments, like a work environment. So here's your Five of Swords. We see a couple of people that are just, the wind has been taken out of them, and then someone that feeds off of that energy around arguing or deflation of egos. So if someone starts to make you feel less, they want to get you here to this five, you're just going to say, you're not worth my time. You don't have to actually articulate that. You're thinking it. And instead of wasting the oxygen on that person, you just walk in another direction and say, not now. Because 5 and 7 of swords are connected to what? The devil card. If you've watched my channel long enough, you already knew that answer. I wouldn't be surprised if we had more time and more cards, we'd probably find the moon in the midst here too. So I can already see that there's something that isn't what you need it to be, because that's what the devil represents as a limit. So I can already see that's in the background pulling the strings. So we're just going to avoid connecting with people or environments where that Five of Swords energy exists. Okay. Now let's go a little bit deeper and just see what other messages around health might be coming through. We'll start off with September. You can't start something new in your life until you're ready. And the Seven of Swords represents that sort of little white lie that we tell to ourselves when we think we're ready, but we're not. So be honest with yourself, 100% honest with yourself. If you have a doctor's appointment, be honest with them. Let them know what's truly vexing you. Honesty, integrity, and accountability is everything that is going to set you free. What you're doing right, I think many of you are busy. There's a lot going on that's stimulating, that keeps you focused. That's good. There's people that want to come into your life that could lend more support if you open yourself up. Some of you are afraid of a repetition of this. We'll talk about that more when we go into relationships, but maybe someone wasn't what they said they were and you're afraid. Let's just let this be in the past and let it go. Going back for a moment to the Six of Pentacles, it's going to be important to make smart choices. This is about a balanced approach in exercise, in diet, and as we talked about here, not overextending or overpromising things. Moving into October, heightened emotions, but some very good days too. I would really lean into the networking, building new communities, building new relationships. They can help you through the challenging cards, folks. You may have a cold or flu. I mentioned before that the Five of Pentacles, here as we're looking at October, can also be about injuries to the foot, the toes, or the lower extremities. Be careful. Watch where you're walking. Don't multitask. Just pay attention to your environments. Overall, it's a pretty good spread, and I think most of what we saw here is avoidable, okay? You might want to get some second opinions if there's anything that doesn't gel. If you don't trust someone's instincts or someone's advice, get a second opinion. That's the only final message that I have there. All right, let's go on from health and take a look at wealth. We have a really powerful card here for wealth, Justice. Justice came through in the reverse. And what it's saying is it's time to create balance. It's time to say no. And if something isn't right, fight for what is. Fight for yourself. So you may decide in this moment to seek out the advice of a lawyer. You may just simply say, you know what? I've been giving this and this all the time. I need this from you in return. You are stating incontrovertibly what is necessary to continue. Scrutinize contracts, absolutely, with that Seven of Swords and the Five of Swords. Scrutinize contracts, and if you don't agree or if you don't understand, walk in another direction. It's not for you, okay? Let's go deeper, and we're going to focus on this in 5 subcategories. We'll start off with those of you that are currently employed. Looking at your general employment outlook in September, here's what I like. We'll start with the positive. I think you have the capacity to really connect well with people. And it's not just September, it's October as well. It's in the takeaways, it's in the Destiny card. You really can be seen in this 2-month period. Visibility, recognition, possibly getting something signed on the dotted line. You have a lot that you're juggling, but you're doing so in a very nice fashion. But what you want to avoid, as we've talked about, is either agreeing to something that is wrong because of Justice in reverse, agreeing to something that is not kind of weighted in your favor, someone's getting more than they should, or just something that you don't want to do. Be honest. Be honest. Make sure it's balanced as possible, and don't give away more than you should. As we look at October, this is when you really get to shine. 6 of Cups, 9 of Cups, 4 of Wands, Star. This is imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough, yet every single card tells me you're good enough. You're good enough, okay? Make sure that you say no to things where you're not getting paid or recognized what you should. Know your worth and advocate for your worth. Some of you may decide to spin off and do something entrepreneurial. Again, there could be great recognition or great leveling up opportunities. Speak it into existence. If you want something, ask. It's a good time to do so. Don't trust a handshake. You've got to get this in writing, though, okay? pretty good period. One last thing, if there's something that is legitimately like not legal, illegal or unjust, you must say no. You must be the light of insight and reason, and just don't get involved with that. It's not worth your time. It will come back and bite you. Okay? Moving on to entrepreneurs. Some interesting stuff coming through. I think integrity and honesty, it's something that you must embody. The one time you say something that's not true, it's going to live forever in social media. So just be honest with your customers and be honest with yourself. Overall, the energy in September is very, very good. We actually see some demand that you may not be able to keep up with. So be honest about that. And maybe there's a wait list or something like that, but don't overextend or overpromise. It does feel like financially you're in a decent spot. I actually see more challenge in October. You might need to take a look at your overall product offerings and cut out anything that's not delivering. And I've seen a lot of that actually over the 60-day period for different signs. So you might need to just say no to some things right now or decide to launch it next year or something like that. One thing that is amazing, if you've been trying to hire new people, I feel like you could find the person that you're looking for in September. I see great networking and outreach opportunities, possibly even a press opportunity as we look at October. So maybe media coverage. This is a great month in which you can launch something. You might have 2 launches that you're straddling. Both of them look pretty successful. You just have to be honest with claims. Don't over promise. It's better to be completely honest. That's my takeaway on this. Also, before doing anything, get like 3 sets of eyes on it. Make sure a lawyer has scrutinized contracts and everything so that you are also code compliant and you're paying your taxes, you're following the codes and the rules and all of that, because you don't want something where someone can come back and say, uh-oh, you owe this, you owe that, etc. Okay, overall, pretty good. I really like the star energy. You can differentiate yourself by doing something unusual or unique, which gets back to that Hierophant reversed. Okay, moving onward to job seekers. You have a really great opportunity in both months to land something. Looking at what comes through in September, more than meets the eye. I don't like something about the contract. The pay looks okay, but there's something about the contract that you want to make sure that you understand. I'm looking at the 8 of Wands and it looks like a travel energy. It normally wouldn't, but to get stuff done, you may need to do some travel that's unexpected. So dig into that as well. Ultimately, I think you can get it, but negotiating and scrutinizing the contract, very, very important. Ask if you can take away that sort of contract and make sure your lawyer can look at it or get some advice from somebody. I much prefer what I see in October, but you have to negotiate. 5 of Pentacles isn't enough, but your references, your experience, and all of that should be able to push you over the edge here towards the yes category instead of the no. The star card also shows that some of you want to go into that entrepreneurial energy that we just talked about. So the only thing that's lacking here is budget. So if you do decide to do that, make sure that you're getting enough money and investments. But overall, it looks good. I see two opportunities. One where the contract is vague, one where the money's not enough. So you're going to have to negotiate a little bit for both. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. We're going back to that justice reverse. It has to feel right for you. All right, moving onward to students. Students, it's pretty good overall. This is, I mean, I shouldn't have to say it, but it's saying be honest. So 7 of Swords, like for instance, cite your sources. If you're using ChatGPT, if you're quoting someone, call it all out because your teacher's going to notice anyway. So be honest. This is also about being honest about what you want, your direction. So going a level up. The 8 of Wands is saying, do I like this path or am I just getting caught up in the shuffle? Make sure that this is the path that you want. You're going to exit the month in a really good way. And then as we look at October, maybe some burnout, a lot of social activities, possibly love and relationships coming in, throwing a curveball in all of this. But at the end of the 60-day period, you're sitting really pretty and it looks great, actually. So I think you're fine. Just honesty and integrity are coming through as a cautionary note. Not doing something that doesn't feel right and not taking on more than you should. So common themes here. I'm not getting anything around travel here. The more important thing that I'm seeing for many of you is relationships, networking, and keeping your commitments. Like, so it's about people and commitments. Those are the sort of central themes in student sort of energy this month. Retirees. This is interesting. People will give as much as you're willing to let them. So I mentioned the sort of grabbing hands in the Six of Pentacles, and this particular Seven of Swords is also very grabby. So I think it's going to be really important when you're dealing with people that you care about. Could be friends or family. They want more from you, and you need a little more for yourself. So you might just be pulling back a little bit from family obligations and investments. You got to keep some of that money for yourself, particularly as we go into interesting financial times. I think October is when relationships could start to blossom for some of you. New friendships, maybe even, it could be like you and your partner, if you're married, could be hanging out with other married partners and going on a trip and meeting new people, like expanding that senior network, which you don't always get a chance to do. Get out there, meet some new friends. This can also be your children or grandchildren and having some fun spending time with them. Be mindful of health and money. Those are the takeaways here, and you got to take care of yourself. Spiritual development as well as coming forth. Okay, let's go to relationships, love. Okay, here's what I see for love. When it's hot, and when it's not, it's not. So we have the Four of Swords in reverse. Don't force a connection that doesn't exist. Take care of yourself. And if you're too tired, if there's too much going on, now is not the time. Take care of yourself. I'm going to give you some additional messages for this as we go through this, starting off with partnerships. Four of Swords in reverse. One of you does all of the communication. The other person kind of sits there, and it can be really frustrating for the person that communicates. That's the bird. The other person is just kind of, yeah, whatever, okay, or they don't answer back. Know this, a lack of communication is a form of communication. It's saying, I don't care enough to reply, or I'm not interested. So if someone is not giving what you're giving, or they're dragging their feet, pay attention to that. All right, let's look at some other messages for those that are partnered. There's no such thing as a white lie. There's just a lie. Tell the truth. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with others. It's going to see the light of day anyway, especially since we had the torchbearer here for the rune. So just lead with it. And the way that you can do it is say, I love you. I have something important that I need to talk to you about, and I really would love to have your support on it. That's it. Just lead with that. I care about you, so I need to share this with you. I'm sorry I didn't bring it up sooner. I didn't feel confident, but I do now. I think that we can work this out together. So just bring it out into the light of day. It'll liberate you, okay? It looks like a busy September, but once you get past whatever this is, it's manageable. So I feel very good overall about the partnership. October's even better. So we have like maybe some rekindling that you can do of the flame here, and then some socializing that you can do here in October. Overall, though, I feel like you're going to exit this period getting to know one another more and hopefully getting deeper into that relationship. If you can move through two challenges, one is honesty and vulnerability, and the other one is insecurity and maybe healing an old wound from the past, something that you haven't forgiven yourself for, you haven't forgiven them. These two little things need to be healed so that you can enjoy everything else that's in this spread. But soulmate energy, commitment, passion, happiness, it's all in the spread so long as these two are dealt with. All right, single and looking. It's a good time to be single and looking. We have two cards that show you can find it. When we're looking in September, be cautious. September, secrets might creep into relationships. Someone may be entangled with someone still, not fully out of a divorce, not fully ready to commit. Maybe they like you, but they don't want to rush into a relationship because the last one wasn't great, and they're wounded, and they're licking the wounds from that previous experience. So get to know someone. Take it a step at a time. I actually feel October is much better. We have a strong soul connection coming through, capacity for friendship, commitment, and love. Your self-confidence could be the block in October. So I feel like this is easier to work with. It could be a little trickier in September. Aquarius energy coming through loud and clear over here, okay? If you are single and happy, good for you. Here's what I see for single and happy. The primary opportunity over this 2-month period is to reimagine yourself. We talked earlier about that Hierophant in reverse, so this is a chance to think of a new way to do it. There's something about your past where it's almost like, again, you don't believe in yourself or you're not fully committing to something. So I'd love for you to go all in. I want you to go full on star, full star power for this 60-day period. And I wouldn't be surprised if as you do this, you start to attract a lot of opportunities and a lot of new people. Possibly finding love because you're not looking for it, because we have so many love cards. But at the very least, buy in on a project, new friends, new networking opportunities, all of the above. You could be so busy that you're like, I just need a break. One last thing, again, I want to hit on this. For anybody, if the person isn't willing to talk to you and it's consistent, you can do better. You deserve more. So remember that. Don't force a connection if it doesn't exist. Okay, let's look at one final question for today. Anything that I have yet to answer, this is your moment to formulate that question for Spirit, and we'll see what comes through. So we have the Four of Pentacles. For those of you that asked a yes or a no question, it's a no. It's easier to see that in this illustration. The Four of Pentacles is less than what you deserve. And I often refer to this playfully as the devil you know. The reason, as we can see here, is basically you're holding on to something that isn't enough because it's there, because it's predictable. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't. They're all devils. They're not enough. So it's worth reaching out for more. If it's insufficient, if it's unfulfilling, or if it's simply not enough, if it's lacking in equality, this is the time to say, no, I don't think so. There also could be you holding back a little bit, not fully embracing the energy of the star, which we talked about. So if you're ready for something, you have to truly go all in. So the initial yes or no is just no, but you could turn it around by working on some of those things, asking for more if you deserve more, showing more of yourself if you're holding back, and exploring the opportunities to make sure that you're not settling for something. Only once you've done all of those should you move forward on something. But by the time you have, you'll realize that this was good advice not to move forward yet. There's more than what meets the eye and more than what's in front of you right now. Okay? I hope that helped you. It was such a pleasure to read for you today. There were so many beautiful cards that came through. And I don't remember the last time I've seen this many partnership cards. The Lovers, Ace of Pentacles, Six of Cups, Nine of Cups, Four of Wands. It's amazing stuff. So even if you're shy, even if you don't normally get out there and connect with others, this is the time to do so. By the way, I didn't even mention the Page of Cups in the middle. That's another card connected with love and relationships. There's a lot of heart-centric energy coming through. Be creative, be expressive, be yourself. All right, everyone. If you enjoyed this, show some support here by hitting the thumbs up and leaving a comment. You can watch this over the 2 months and give me updates. I read every single comment, and I appreciate it. You can also give back in the form of super stickers, super chat, and also memberships. So you can leave a little sticker below or join the channel. Either way, thank you. You can also follow me on social media so you never miss out on a future post. It's Nicholas Ashbaugh on all major platforms. No extra numbers. I just saw someone trying to be like an imposter on YouTube today. It's my name and nothing more. Whenever you're in doubt, you can go to my website and all of the information is listed there, as well as the main page here. There's like 13 official links. You can find all of them on the main channel page. That, my friends, is everything for today. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Let me see if I can bring Apollo up for just a second, and then we'll sign off for today. All right, he just woke up from his nap. Take care, everybody. Have a great 2-month period ahead. I'll see you again for all of the weekly and daily readings as well. So until then, be well.